G'day, another review for you today, another used review. This is about 18 months of tenure with this product that I've had. This is a review of the 4x4 Supacentre, also known as Adventure Kings 9-inch LED driving lights. This particular set of driving lights is the Domin8r 9-inch driving lights with OSRAM LEDs. So I've had these for about 18 months. Now the problem with reviewing Adventure Kings driving lights is they update their range so frequently. They update it all the time. So doing a 12-month review is going to be difficult to do, or beyond this. This is about 18 months now. It's going to be difficult to do because Adventure Kings update their range so frequently. So it may be that you end up reviewing a product that's not available anymore. As of today, so we're in June, these lights are still for sale at Adventure Kings. They do have an updated version. There is an updated version, which is handy if you don't like the blue rings, because the new version has black rings. But it should give you an idea of what these have been like, hopefully, over 18 months. And the reason I did doing this review is because when I bought these, this is the first set of lights I've bought for myself. I've fitted these lights to other people's utes for them before. People have asked me, can you fit them? No problem. Fitted them to other people's utes before. Haven't done it myself. Haven't fitted fitted a pair of Kings lights myself. I've been quite loyal to Lightforce. I'm a big fan of the Lightforce 240s. But, you know, for value for money, these things cost me $129 delivered with a loom. Now, I don't usually buy wiring looms. When I was running Lightforce 240s on my vehicles, I never bought the Lightforce loom because I could make a loom myself for far cheaper, even with buying a switch and a relay. And I rarely use the switch. So, for example, with the loom in this case, I didn't use the switch. It's a big rectangle, chunky looking switch. It doesn't look OEM. So I took it off and I fitted a button switch to this, and fitting it to my Land Cruiser. I put a set of these on my Land Cruiser, and I've got a illuminated driving light switch that looks factory, that fits in the factory blank on a Toyota Hilux or a Toyota Land Cruiser. They fit straight in there and it all looks factory. So I haven't used their switches because I think they look cheap, let's say that. It would work if you wanted to use it, no problems, it would work, and it illuminates, fine. I just think it looks a bit cheap, so I haven't chosen to use their switches. But I did use the loom because these were $129 delivered, $119 without the loom. I couldn't make a loom for 10 bucks. So, and the looms that come with this are fantastic. Even on this, which runs, I think this is 9007 globes, which is not a common globe. I think that's what it is. Anyway, whatever it is, whatever the high beam, low beam globes on this are, they're not common. They're not common in Australia. So to have it just plug straight in, it's fantastic. You pull the plug off the back of the headlight, plug the loom adapter in, plug the factory harness back into the other end of the loom attachment on the driving lights. It's so simple. It's not uncommon that driving light looms are like that now, but so simple. You can do the whole installation in minutes, 10 minutes, and you can have this thing installed if you're not trying to route anything really, really difficult. They're very easy. That loom is absolutely fantastic. Adventure Kings have done a really good job on that. Waterproof connections off the lights too, which is nice. So. Worth getting the loom. If it was a $50 premium, I probably wouldn't bother. I'd make my own. But for $10, I don't think you can beat that. Definitely worth buying the loom. So I bought these to give them a go at $129 delivered. I figured I couldn't go wrong. That was on a discount. Now with Adventure Kings, if you sign up to their mailing list, you'll get 2 or 3 emails a day. Giving you various discounts, and you do have to read them to get the best deal because their prices change. Some days it's free shipping, some days it's plus shipping. On a day that it's free shipping, it might actually be free shipping, but the price is increased. So you've got to really watch Adventure Kings. You can these actually came off eBay. So Adventure Kings, when I bought these, were matching their eBay store with their own online store, and there was a 15% off coupon on eBay for their store. So I got an additional 15% off, which is why I got them for $129 delivered. But even today, looking at them, you can buy these lights with a loom for $149 delivered, which means if you wait a while and look for a discount, you will get them for less than that. I wouldn't be surprised for you getting them for the similar price, $129. And when I consider the first set of driving lights I bought, it was before the days of Adventure Kings, before the days of Light Force even. I put a set of Hellas on my very first utility vehicle, and those lights alone, back in about 2000, 99, 2000, were $200 supply only for little square Hellas. To think that you can get so much lighting capacity now for $129 to your door is just astonishing. Amazing that we have this sort of technology for so cheap now. So my first foray into them, how have I found them? Well, the biggest critique I had when I was fitting them to other people's cars was people go, oh mate, they won't last. The Adventure King stuff, it's cheap, it doesn't last. And I've heard that critique of eBay lights as well. I've seen people who've bought cheap LED 9-inch or 7-inch driving lights off eBay, and they haven't lasted. The lens is cracked, the lens is discolored, water's got in it, it's fogged up, horrible things. They haven't lasted, admittedly, and that's the critique I got of these. The two things that people said to me when I bought these lights was they're going to leak. The King's lights are known for leaking, and the lenses will discolor really rapidly, and the lens, you won't get the performance out of them once the lenses go. So I've had them on 18 months. I haven't done creek crossings with them. Admittedly, that's not something I really come up against on any of my cars. So if that's a consideration of, I think that they rate them now, checking the website this morning, they rate them for a 1 meter submersion. Sorry, not 1 meter. Being submersed for 1 hour. So if you've got a requirement beyond that, well, maybe a car's not what you need. Maybe you need a boat or a submarine. But I haven't done creek crossings with them, so I can't advocate for how they've done when they've been fully submerged, but I have driven them in the pouring rain. This vehicle and others have been left outside in the pouring rain. They are shedded, so that's going to help with lens discoloration. If you leave it outside, that's certainly going to treat them harsher. But for me, I keep them in the shed, so it's not a problem. It's not really a thing I worry about in terms of discoloring lenses, and they haven't discolored, as you can see. They have scratched. I've scrubbed them with a stiff bristle scrubbing brush to get the bugs off it, and you can see, you probably can't see it in there, but when I look across them, I can see all the little scratches. So the lenses are quite soft. So far, 18 months in, they're fine, but my original Hellas that I aforementioned to you, I've still got them. They're on one of my ATV vehicles, and they don't throw much of a light. They're okay, but they've got a glass lens. But in the day of cheap lenses, like Light Force don't use glass lenses. These aren't glass lenses. I don't even think ARBs are glass lenses. So I think that's largely gone. We're using plastics now, and these ones have scratched. So how will they go? Scrubbing them down 5 years down the track? We'll see. We'll see. But 18 months in, they're okay, and the performance is still very good. There's plenty of videos you can see, including on the Adventure Kings website, and I'll show you the comparison, driving lights on, driving lights off. I like rounds. You do what you want, but I find these are really great. They shine as far as I can see. I don't need any more capacity than these. I think that they're perfectly fine. They really, really light up the road as much as I want to see it. On this truck, we've got upgraded globes in it. I haven't gone to LEDs because unfortunately in Australia there's no LED bulbs that are ADR approved. So if you put LEDs in your low beam, they're illegal. And this has a combo. This has a combo high beam, low beam, which means I can't fit an LED to it, which is unfortunate. If you've got high beam and low beam, you can put an LED in your high beam in Australia. That's not a problem, but you can't run an LED low beam, which is a bit frustrating. So the biggest problem with these, even with upgraded globes, is when you dim the lights, you really, your eyes have to adjust because you're going from being able to see everything clear as day to dim your lights and you can't see almost a damn thing. It really shows you the limitation of the old style halogen headlights. LEDs are far better, but I don't need any more power than this. I'm perfectly happy with the amount of grunt that these ones have. I haven't seen any water go in them. As I said, no creek crossings, but they have driven in the rain. This car has been left out in the pouring rain, parked, and I haven't seen any water. There's no fogging in there. They're fine. Wiring was really simple, as I mentioned. Plug and play, pretty much. Boom, away you go. Have worked from day one without issues. Waterproof connections. I wouldn't imagine that they'd give me any grief, but they certainly haven't. So I generally try and conclude these things with saying, would I buy them again? In this case, I have bought them again. I waited for another sale and I've bought 2 more sets of them. So I've got a Hilux for work the employees drive around on the farm. I've got my wife's Land Cruiser and I have the Ram. All 3 of them have got these lights on them. I can't get near them for the money. They do give a warranty from someone that I know is going to be there in 12 months. That's the problem with an eBay light. You buy it off an eBay store. Are you even going to be able to get in touch with that seller in 12 months or 7 months if the light shags out? Probably not. At least I know where these guys are and I've got my receipt. It's outside of warranty now, but I've had no issues with them. It'll be interesting to see how they go in 5 years' time. Are they holding up? We'll see. But there'll likely to be 4 new models of Adventure King lights by the time we get to 5 years from now. I'll be disappointed if they don't last that long, because you can buy it. I've had Light Force lights roll from one vehicle to the next vehicle, and they haven't given me any ounce of drama, and have been very, very tenured, very good quality lights. So if these don't go the distance, you could make the argument that we just chat for $130, just change them over every 3 years or something. That's a sound argument. I will find it a bit annoying though that they don't last, but they are a cheap light, so maybe expecting them to last is too much. One thing I have noticed is you've got 2 Allen key adjustment bolts. You've got one here. You can't see them. They're both behind the light. You've got a bigger one and then a smaller one to adjust your angle. And then the metal bracket itself. The paint on that metal bracket is wafer thin. The Allen key bolts have got surface rust on them. The mount has got surface rust on them. It hasn't been scratched, hasn't been sandblasted by endless driving down dirt roads or anything like that. The paint's still there. It's just evidently a very cheap mount and cheap fixing hardware. The light itself hasn't, but this under here has got surface rust on it, which probably shows the cheapness of the light itself, but it hasn't affected the light functionality. The lights function fine. So would I buy them again? As I said, I have bought them again. I think I'm content to run with them for $130. You can get them at the moment for $150. The newer model is more expensive. I'd be more than happy to buy this particular light from Adventure Kings at say $129. If you wait for a special, $149. Yeah, maybe. That's probably fine. But at $129, I'd buy them again and take the discount over the newer model, principally because I haven't seen these decay in any real meaningful way that would prevent me from buying them again. And I don't need any more light than these provide. Not up close and not at distance. They do everything that I want them to do. So I've been quite happy with them, especially when you compare them to the price that ARB are asking for their 9 inches, what Light Force are asking, all of them which are manufactured offshore, but these ones manufactured offshore as well, all Australian companies, those competitors, but you've got to make up your mind which one you want to support. There's an intellectual property problem potentially there. I know some people have been concerned that ARB came out with the LED design first and other companies have just lifted it. That might be a consideration of yours, but the fact of the matter is that ARBs at the price that they're asking, I just wouldn't buy them. They're just too expensive, and these are I found these to be quite adequate, so I would be content to recommend them. So suit yourself, but for what it's worth, 18 months in, that's what how they've performed. And on the other vehicles that I've got them fitted to, they've performed exactly the same. Bit of scratching on the lens, that's the biggest complaint I have, but doesn't seem to affect functionality at all. and on the other vehicles they look exactly like this one. So I hope that was useful for you, and I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much.